You know, when a family receives an ALS diagnosis, the questions can feel, well, just overwhelming. But so often, they all lead back to one thing: a search for answers, for progress, and for hope. And that search, very quickly, leads to the world of clinical trials.
So this is the big one, isn't it? It's the question that can feel like staring at a giant, tangled map with no compass. But in this explainer, we're going to untangle that map. We're going to give you the tools you need to navigate the world of ALS research with real confidence.
Okay, so before we can find our way, we really need to know what we're looking for. Let's just take a quick second to get on the same page about what a clinical trial actually is, because honestly, they are the absolute engine of all medical progress.
Right, here's the crucial point. This is the required path forward. It doesn't matter if it's a new drug, a gene therapy, or some kind of device. Every single treatment that's available for any disease today had to prove itself through this structured process first. They are just absolutely essential.
And this really shows you how careful and methodical the whole thing is. You know, researchers don't just jump in. They start small. Phase 1 is all about safety and just a small group of people. If that looks good, okay, then they expand to Phase 2 to look for those early signs of effectiveness. And only then do they move to a huge, large-scale Phase 3 study to get that final definitive answer. It's a really careful, deliberate journey.
Now, you'd think something so important would be easy to find, wouldn't you? Well, that's kind of where the problem starts. Let's take a look at why finding the right information can feel like you're trying to navigate a maze in the dark.
And here it is. This is the heart of the issue. The main library for all this stuff, ClinicalTrials.gov, is an amazing resource, but it speaks the language of scientists. It's full of technical jargon and complex data that can be almost impossible for a patient or a family member to figure out.
This lays out the gap perfectly. I mean, on one side, you've got this vast, technical, unfiltered ocean of data. And on the other side is what families actually need: simple language, results that are just for ALS, and a clear focus on the trials that are actually looking for people right now. We need a translator.
And the great news is the ALS community has built those translators. So let's walk through 3 of the most powerful and trusted tools out there, designed specifically to help you find your way.
Okay, first stop is the ALS Trial Navigator. This is a fantastic resource from the ALS Therapy Development Institute, or ALS TDI. They're a nonprofit that is 100% dedicated to finding treatments for ALS.
What's so powerful about this tool is that it does all the heavy lifting for you. It pulls in data from all those complicated global registries, but then, and this is so important, it updates that information every single day. You can use its maps and filters to find trials that could be a match for your specific location and situation. It's a game changer.
Yeah, because of its accuracy, those daily updates, and just how easy it is to use, it's pretty much the go-to starting point for any family who's just beginning this search.
All right, next up, we have the search tool from NAILS. That stands for the Network of Excellence for ALS. And it's basically a big group of all the top ALS research centers that are working together.
So, since the NAILS sites are the ones actually running a lot of these major trials, their database is super reliable, especially for studies here in the US. And they offer something really cool, a trial liaison service. They can actually help connect you directly with people at the trial sites who can answer your questions. How great is that?
And our third tool is the ALS Signal. This was created by the patient advocacy group I Am ALS. And this one takes a really different, much more visual approach to the whole research landscape.
Think of ALS Signal as your 30,000-foot view. It's like a dashboard that helps you see the big picture, especially for trials that are testing treatments designed to actually change the course of the disease. It's an amazing way to understand the trends and see where the science is headed.
So, there you have it. 3 incredibly powerful tools. But the real magic happens when you know how to use them together to create your own personalized map of the whole research landscape.
Here's your game plan, kind of like a cheat sheet. A lot of advocates suggest starting with the ALS Trial Navigator for that big, comprehensive search. Then you can use the NAILS tool to zoom in on specific US research centers and use ALS Signal to understand the bigger picture. When you use them together, you get a really complete view.
But finding a potential trial, that's really just the beginning of the next chapter. Deciding to actually participate in research is a deeply, deeply personal choice, and it's one that deserves a lot of careful and thoughtful consideration.
This is the single most important question to ask. There are so many things to think about. Travel, time commitment, the specifics of the study itself. Getting the answer isn't something you do alone. It's a conversation. And the most important thing to remember is that you don't make this decision in a vacuum. It is a team effort. You have to talk it through with your doctor, with the research staff who know the trial inside and out, and especially with your family and your support system.
And it's so important to remember the why behind all of this. Every single person who volunteers for a trial is a partner in the research. You are directly helping to push the entire field forward, helping to speed up the search for treatments for every single person impacted by ALS.
And just like that, what starts out as this intimidating, confusing search can really turn into a journey of empowerment. When you have the right tools and you know the right questions to ask, you can navigate this whole landscape with so much more confidence.
Look, the path ahead is challenging, there is no doubt about that, but it's no longer an unknown maze. By turning information into understanding, you can now move forward with a clear sense of direction and with purpose.